Morning guys, Mark here, Celtic Crossbows, on this lovely 4 AM sunny morning in South Wales. It's pitch black outside. We've had thunder, we've had lightning, torrential rain, and there's quite literally a river running down the road outside. So we look at the new Series 2 Mark II Steambow Stinger Tactical. Why is she Mark II? So you eagle-eyed already noticed on this new chassis, the cutout for your bowstring in what effectively is the breech is now a smaller notch. The edges have been chamfered to give a crisper, cleaner release. The QR system is now a standard fitment. So this is the new base model for the Steambow Stinger Tactical. To compete with competition as well, she now comes with the tuning trigger. So is a whole host and raft of modifications on the Mark II Steambow Stinger to the Mark I. Released on November the 1st, 2023, so just a few days ago. I got the latest and the greatest of all the modern crossbows, in my opinion. She got the metal magazine, and just showing the breech now. As you can see here, she now has this lovely chamfered breech area, bowstring retainer, call it whatever the hell you like. It's now got a 15-degree angle running off it, and from the front as well, from the side, it's now got a slight convex as well, sorry, concave, so the string sits more definitely in the groove, but less friction on the string when you release. So when you pull up, it's pressure, 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 twang, gone. So it's a much improved trigger release system, going out to the tuning trigger as a standard fitment. Okay, the next step we're going to look at now is the riser. We now want the V3 riser on the Steambow Stinger. The V1 being the EK archery based Stinger 1. The V2 or S2 being the introduction model of the Stinger II. This model, if you like, is the V3. What they've done is as well, which is a nice upgrade as well. If you look here at the front, get the probe past the camera, is now a straight flush. You can't see it passing away, coming on the other side. It's now a straight flush to the rail. If I open up my magazine and show you inside now, when she closes, you can see now she's a smooth straight through finish, so you're getting full rail, and when it closes, it is now a perfect flush. Now if you go on the Steambow website, it shows two risers for your prod. This is the standard Mark I riser, so to speak. Just taking my limb out. And this is the special edition riser. If you've got the special edition Steambow Stinger, which come with serial numbered, this is the riser that you need. If we look on the top here, you will see it's like a small ramp system here running down the side. If your Steambow Stinger has a cutout in the front on the metal magazine, you will need this improved. It's not improved actually, it's a variation on the design. I'll say that, it's not an improvement, it's a variation on the design. We'll show you how it fits now. When it fits into your rail, sits in there, the margin's got the limb in place. When you close the magazine, it will not close. That's because on either side of the riser block or QR block is those two little ramps, there and there. Try to get better to the camera. There they are, there and there, that sit either side of the rail. So when you close it, it won't close. On the limited edition magazine, you come around the other way. On the limited edition magazine, this year was slightly raised so it would close. If you do happen to have these limited edition riser blocks, like I do, it's not the end of the world. You can still take your Dremel and quietly, or hacksaw, and this little ramp here, you can see better on this reflection here, just quietly grind 2mm off either side and it'll work absolutely fine. So don't be alarmed, don't get upset, don't burst into tears. If you do happen to order the QR mount for the Steambow Stinger II metal magazine limited edition, these are the ones you need. If you've ordered if you're a new standard edition, you need the new riser limb. As you can see now, these are square, flush, straight off. So I bring them up side by side, as you can see the difference. So coming in close there. So I try to get them both on camera together. So yeah, you can see the difference in the face, slight difference in the face, and a slight difference in the profile. Okay, so that's the new upgraded limbs taken care of. We've had a look at the new standard tuning trigger. This is obviously now the new standard. So when you order your Steambow Stinger II now, the Mark II Series 2, make sure you're ordering the Series 2, or Series 2 Mark II I should say. The Series 2 Mark I, the release Stinger 2, is still available, but that's got the closed-in riser, the old-fashioned style breech block, breech area. It'll still come with a single pull fixed blade trigger, and it'll still come with a plastic magazine. Okay, and now we gotta look at the metal magazine. Okay then guys, so the first thing we're going to be attacking is the front laser. Like it or loathe it. Personally myself, I think it's a lovely little thing. Works great, I like it. It frees up one of your Picatinny rails, it gives you better position of the handle so you're not tied up none of your space down by there, and it is adjustable in 2 planes. It is an ambidextrous switch. You either fit your switch so it's a thumb release on the right, finger off down, or you can flip the laser over and do it reverse. So if you're a southpaw, you can still use the laser the other way. But one thing I don't like with it is to change the batteries. Batteries run flat is a fact of life. To change the batteries, you have to slacken off your Picatinny rail on the near side, slacken off your bolts at the back to take the battery out. When you take the battery out then and change the battery, you put it back in, you have to reset your zero again, which means you're wasting battery energy resetting your zero. So I think it'd be better if I had a plug-in permanently fixed battery, so you can plug a USB adapter into the back of the laser to charge it. I think it makes it a much easier, much simpler design. Gerard, if you're listening, or Gerald, if you're listening, if this was replaced with a USB rechargeable laser, because we got the one fitment on one side, you could have the port going in to plug it to charge it, and a simple on and off switch on the other side, and you won't have to then reset your laser and re-zero every time you change your batteries or take the magazine apart and lose your zero. Picatinny mounts, we got 4 of them, and 3 on the magazine, 1 on the chassis. The 3 on the magazine are all metal mounts. They're not plastic, they can't be chewed out, they're good, they're solid. You can have a really good grind on them, you're not going to break them. And because they are bolted on as well to the magazine, they're not cast as part of it. If you do damage them, you do cross-thread them, you can replace them, and they are available. So that's a thumbs up from me. That's a great option. When you fit in your metal magazine, you must install these black washers here. Otherwise, when you're cocking, the limbs will dig into the body and gouge it all the way up, giving you an unsightly mark. Okay, so we've looked at the front end, we've looked at the laser. Now we've got to look at the sights. We've got to come from this side because you won't be able to see from the other side. It's cute, very cute little fiber optic front sight here. Now with horizontal adjustment. Just in here, you can now adjust your front sight left and right, which is great compared to the old sight, which was just a fixed post at the rear and fixed post at the front. So at least now you have got lateral adjustment in the horizontal plane to give you a better accuracy out of the box without having to sight in your laser straight away, without having to sight in the scope straight away. If your batteries fail, you still have a backup system on the crossbow to make your life easier. Is a thumb release for the magazine, and this is a really sweet improvement over the plastic magazine. The plastic magazine, you got a nail release at the back, you pull it back and it pops the magazine. It also doubles as your rear sight on the Steambow magazine. Where this now, you have a replica rimfire style release. Press the button down to the bump stop here, which replicates, like I said, a hammer on the back, or a double hammer. You can also use this double as a lanyard as well. So if you've got a QR lanyard system, shoulder sling, you can put your QR sling now through here and hold it around your neck, so it's there ready to go. So you can have your shoulder sling on through the back here through using a QR release for your sling, and have it sat on your shoulder ready to go. So as soon as you crook, you're up, you can fire. So your hands are free. So if you think you're walking, you might fall, you might stumble, you can release your crossbow. It's got to sit around your neck, and you can fall and put your hands out, save yourself and save your weapon. If you're walking around with it and your instinct is to keep a hold of your weapon, you're going to face plant the ground, and the next thing you know, you're going to be spitting out teeth. Okay, we're going to look at this. I'm going to have a look at the sight picture now to give you my honest opinion. Shot field target for decades. Used to be ranked on top 100 UK. So we're going to have a look now. I'm going to look now to see what my thoughts are on the sight picture. Well, first of all, bring the stock out because I don't like a short stock. Okay, now with this stock and the cheek at this level, my eye relief is perfect. The comfort for me sits right in my crook of my shoulder, and I got two pointing options. You can either use the base of the blade for long range, so you got this little notch by here. You can line up your top rear posts. So I'll give you a long range because you're bringing your front end up, and your post is slightly proud at the front. I'd probably say has a 30-yard range mark. We shall see this on the fine range when I take it outside. And the bottom bead, if you bring it down the middle, is a notch. Bringing it, see if you can see it here, down in the centre of the notch, and that sits exactly flush with the base plate of that. So I would say I'll give you an intermediate range, 0. And of course then, if you want to bring your bead all the way down into your notch, so I'll give you another point of aim. So you've effectively got 3 points of aim in your trajectory on the sighting system. Excellent, love it. And they're alloy, they're solid, low profile, unlike the Yak Terminator 3 where they sat right up in the air. These are really low profile sights, and the closer you get your eye to the sighting plane, the more accurate you're going to be. That's a fact. If you've got a scope which is really high up, air rifle shooters will know this, rimfire shooters will have a clue what I'm talking about probably, because they aim flat at every trajectory apart from over 1,000 yards, which is, for an air rifle, is probably the same as shooting at 100 yards. So if you can shoot an air rifle, anybody can shoot a firearm. So same with these. If you can get your trajectories right with a crossbow, you can go straight up tomorrow and shoot a 50 cal as if you was using a water pistol. It's that easy. For the eagle-eyed amongst you, you notice that the magazine now lid stays open because it's now a spring-loaded lid. It's a really solid lockup. There's a tiny little bit of rattle, but you can overcome this if you just use some double-sided felt tape. Away the lid sits on the back by you. Just put a half a centimetre square on the back, so when she comes down and locks in, you can just lock that. Same as on your Picatinny rails, you can do the same with those. You can put a felt line on the back of it, so any vibration, it'll act as a damper and take vibration out and give you a much sweeter ride. Okay, so you look at it now. The speed loader clamp, let's flip her over. The speed loader clamp, she's ambidextrous. You can either fit her from the left or the right, and you see her there. It's a plastic button or nylon. Lovely little design. You just pop the spring out and you can flicker left or right hand side to your preference. So you're not tied up with just using the thumb on the one side for the magazine. This is great, I love it. So you can put your magazine in, which I'll show you now, and you can just hold it with one thumb. And if you don't need it, you can just release and take the magazine back out. If you're going to be using these bolts, this is my fishing bolts, but you're going to use a short version of these with this kind of fletching on the back, they will not work with a speed loader. As you pull out the stripper to release the bolts, you will not be able to physically pull them out. There is no give in these flights at all to allow you to pull the stripper out to load the magazine. These are specifically used for nose loading of your bow, same as the EKR9. Okay, next bows we look at, these ones. They fit in the magazine and they fly okay, but these are rubber vanes, very nice, but they're too stiff. So again, when you try to pull the stripper out, you can actually strip these off the vanes and damage them. So we're going to look now to, this is one of my bolts, one of my long range bolts. Doesn't fit in the magazine, but does fit in the stripper. These are nice soft rubber fletchings, as you can see, much softer, much more give in the magazine. So when you pull the stripper, the wings or fletchings flex, allowing you to strip them off the vane. So we're going to look at that now, that process. So I'm going to bring the camera down now as we can have a better look. Everything's in place. You've got your magazine screw in the back, and you just simply open up your breech. Your speed loader then, take it with your finger, you put it straight back towards you. Don't put it at an angle. Nose down in. Locks in. Press your button. Now with your button pressed, you can pull your stripper straight up. Take your thumb off, so now you've got both hands free. Pull out your magazine, and you're now ready to rock and roll with your 5 shots. It is a 6-shot magazine, but she only takes 5 in the speed loader, so you can always keep 1 in the breech ready to rock and roll, and 5 on standby should you need them. So bolts I'm using, my own bolts, my Badger bolts, 300 grain, lovely bolt, very nice soft fletchings. So they work really nice with the speed loader magazine, which is something a lot of these boat makers will tell you. You do really need nice soft flights on your crossbow bolts to work with the stripper. If they're a solid bolt, again, I'll show you a solid flight like this. You will have to really rip the stripper off, whereas if you've got a nice soft flight, they'll work better. Some of the sharp-eyed amongst you might have noticed that the cocking arms are jet black. That's because these are the limited edition cocking arms off the limited edition Steambow Stinger S2. Steambow still have some of these available, and there was a special order for me, and I think it really makes it a little bit different from the rest. Why the orange grips? Because I'm doing a survival series at the moment, and I wanted them for one of these. And I'll be putting this on my next order back over to tactical black. Okay, so this is just a temporary thing. Right, next we're going to look at the buffer tube. I'm using a mil-spec buffer tube. I'm not using a standard buffer tube. The reason being, with the 120 pound bow limb and the extra weight up front with the magazine, etc., I wanted more weight back to the back end. It's a slightly thicker tube, and an original AR buffer tube I believe works a lot better, which again brings it nicely to the stock. If I just pull out now the Steambow, and it is a genuine Steambow AR buffer tube. This is the buffer tube I use on a daily basis. I just get in. This one here, double lock, quick cam release, raised cheek piece. Looks like for a higher stock. Get in the bugger. There you are. So when she's locked in, she's much longer in the shoulder, and for me more pointable in use. Okay, the next important thing, which I think is essential with buttstock, is being able to lock it. With your standard AR buttstock, you can't lock your shoulder stock. For example, once you've got the length you want and is locked in, you can then double lock it to make sure she doesn't move. Why double lock it? Well, quite simply, if you're moving through bush or jungle or anything like that, you can catch easily this kind of lever action stock adjuster quite easily. And when you're on target, you could snag it on your backpack or something like this, and you can lose your zero and lose the shot. Is something you don't want. So with the RISR system or riser, you got a variable height and cheek comb. You can buy these in different sizes. You can see you got the screw attachments here, so if you want to fit something underneath or around, you can do, and it doesn't affect your lock once it's in. It can't just be released once it's in place. Also in the stock as well, this unclips and you've got storage in here, so you can put your spare bowstring in the back, in the tube, which means you'll always have a spare string on you when you're out in the field, which makes it a lot more tactical mission ready. So at the moment I'm running the 120 limb, but it's not going to stay the 120 limb, because at the moment in this configuration, brand new and everything really tight fitting, it really does put an extra strain on the system when you're cocking. It does feel more like 130, 140 to me when you're cocking it. Bear in mind, if you see my previous videos, I've done experience with twin limbs, etc., going up to 160, yeah, about 160 pounds in the Steambow, and I said about 120, 130 was a sweet spot, and I had it exactly where I liked it. And so yeah, so being a brand new system, it does feel heavier. So for running the system in, I will be switching over to at least this 90 pound Pro limb and see how she feels. If need be, I'll drop back to a 55 pound limb just to get the system working and free everything up nicely and lubricated and how I like it to operate. At the moment, can use it in this configuration, so it's you're on your shoulder, release, and you can see it's stiff. You can't just release and bring down to use. It's very stiff. So until she frees up a little bit, you couldn't use it shooting from the shoulder. You'd have to come down into your stomach or hip to cock it, to get the leverage on, to get past the friction, see? But again, that's because she's brand new out of the box. Can I see any other improvements for it? I think on the front Picatinny mount could be a slight notch on the front Picatinny mount to give better access to the laser on and off switch on both sides. It wouldn't have to be handed, you could just flip them over from one side to the other. I think the moulding for the grip needs to be slightly improving. See here now where I bring it right into the camera, I'll try to. It needs to be improved for better on it. This is QC at the factory, not Steambow's doing. Is with their suppliers. Obviously they need to check the fitment and operation a little more closely, I think. And I think for the front laser, this really needs to be a USB laser. Either plugging from left or right to charge it, because it would save, when the batteries die, I have to split the magazine, and that's what you have to do, because we got the button for the magazine, but there, it won't just pull through. You have to quite literally take the mounts off, undo the front, split the magazine to take the laser out, change your batteries, put it back in for it to work. And again, you lose your zero when you do that. So I recommend when you take your laser sight out, touch up paint on the side here, white paint, just a touch, at 3 o'clock and 12 o'clock, or underneath the barrel. Don't have to be white, could be red, any colour you fancy really, or even a slight scratch. So when you put it back in, it lines up perfectly every time, and it saves you on too much time having to re-zero your sight every time. So that's the three things I could see on the new Steambow S2 Mark II that needs improving. A slightly better moulding for the design of your upgrade grips. It should be identical to the supply grips from the factory when you buy a Steambow Stinger. For some reason it's not. Why? I couldn't tell you. I just wasn't prepared to send it back and wait a fortnight to get a replacement set. So I just pushed ahead with it. So that's my first recommendation for an upgrade, is better design moulding of the grip. Second design thing which I think needs doing is a notch in the side of the Picatinny rail to give you better access to your on off button. And the third, like I said, with the laser, USB. Apart from that, the system is great. The sights are great, the operating is great, how the magazine system works is absolutely smack on. I do love the improved pivot for the stock. The QR system, that's improved, so we no longer now need two different QS systems for your bowling. They will all work off the one if you buy the new magazine. Finish, fantastic second and then. I absolutely love it. Depending where you are in Europe or America, if you're in the UK, it's roughly £400 for the magazine. £300 for your Steambow, so that's 4, 5, 700 quid. Time you buy your AR stock tube, military spec stock tube, upgraded buffer, your laser sight for the front, and your QR magazine, you run about £850. It's a serious piece of kit. If you're really serious about bug out, home defence, shit it's the fan, this is the Crossbow for you. The sister Crossbow, I say sister because it's the company which supplies me Mancung. This is the Crossbows I supply, and the build quality and the effort they put in is much better than this, although it's a sister Crossbow. It comes off the same Polang factory in Taiwan stroke Hong Kong, People's Republic of China, blah blah blah. But for me, as I say, once you go black, there's no turning back, and I'm going black all the way. This is absolutely banging. I love it. like I said, apart from a few modifications which we'll probably see in the Series 3, we'll see what comes out with it. But coming in January, I got something new for you, and I already know it's coming, and it's the new overshot magazine loading system, and we've got one already ordered for January. So it'll replace the alloy mag with a quick release mag as well. But I'm not going to break up this. I love it. I'm absolutely in love with it. She's stunning. I'm now using it on another Steambow chassis, probably the survival chassis which I'm building at the moment. Thanks for watching. Take care. I love you guys loads, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks and bye bye. Okay, so here we are. You're out and about. You release your lid on your magazine. Bop. You're now holding your stock. Pull out and drop your fucking bolts everywhere.